sorry if I'm masculine, but I've been forced to be masculine.
No need to apologize for something that doesn't exist, but go on.
When I was married, or when I was in my past relationships, a man didn't wear the pants.
Why wasn't he wearing pants?
I had to take off my skirt and put the pants in the relationship.
Oh, right then. A little condescending. I mean, you're wearing pants right now. Did you communicate to him that you need him to step up in this relationship? Did you place an expectation on him that he would just get with the program? Did you allow space for this man to step up and wear the pants? Or did you become combative any time he tried to step into the pants? Because we're in a time where women are more independent than ever and told not to rely on a man for anything. And he thought, I don't want to have an argument, I'll just let her do it. Also, these are just all hypotheticals from my perception from observing this video.
If a man can't show up and can't be a man and an alpha...
Women spouting the alpha rhetoric. I went on a date with a woman once who said she wanted an alpha male. That was a red flag for me.
Then guess what? A woman has to be that alpha.
Why do we need an alpha? Alpha isn't a real concept, it's made up. This all came from a guy who studied wolves and thought that there was an alpha wolf. He later realized it was just the parent wolves and has spent the rest of his life trying to have this study discredited and removed. We're also evolved, civilized human beings and not primitive animals.
So a lot of men in my life forced me to wear the pants because they had their skirts on.
Loving the shaming language. Being forced. Are you being held at gunpoint? It's interesting she's had such dissatisfaction with her relationships with men, yet still chose to engage in said relationships to the point of marriage.
This is what people don't understand.
Well, thank you for this acknowledgement, because this stuff on a regular basis makes absolutely no sense to me. I say this knowing full well and recognize that I'm completely emotionally detached from this woman's situation.
When I have been forced to be masculine by men who were not alphas...
Sorry, as a man, I didn't force you to do anything. And yes, that would mean I'm not an alpha male. Isn't it also possible that this alpha male could force you to do whatever he wants? What happens when you're single? You could also say this society is forcing you to step up into your masculine.
And I had to show up for the family, and I had to pay the rent, the food, everything. I had to.
You had to do all that. You know, like everyone else has to, because we're adults. If we don't, we'll end up homeless and starve. What happens when you're not in a relationship? Are you forced to pay for everything yourself? Is being a self-sufficient adult masculine? It's interesting to see the shoe on the other foot, because she's clearly okay to expect men to pay for everything. And who are these men that you chose to date and chose to marry? By in which you're describing them, it sounds like they contributed absolutely nothing.
A woman is in a relationship where the man doesn't show up. She has to put the pants on.
And why did we choose to be in said relationship if this is how you feel? And yes, if a man was carrying on the same way about women he was dating, I would say the same thing.
Show me an alpha man.
They're on podcasts trashing women all the time. They're waiting for you. They're desperately single, but you will have to share them. All the alphas get all the women.
That is in his true alpha.
The true alphas. Emperors of Chad Castle.
Not in his wounded masculine, but his full-on masculine.
Yeah, this guy sounds like a complete fantasy.
And watch me become a sweet, soft little girl.
Yeah, I would reconsider rephrasing the little girl part.
I need a man that is fully in his energy, masculine energy.
I've lived most of my life not being aware of any of this shit, and I want to go back to that time. It was much simpler.
And when a man gives that woman that feeling, that safety, that energy, that love, you can feel it. Then a woman deassembles her masculine energy and she falls into her feminine and she becomes a child.
No thanks, I don't want to be in a relationship with a child.
But sadly, I have not met those.
Never met a man like this, and you proclaim that once you meet said man that you'll become a soft, sweet little girl. How do you know that that will happen? If you've never met a man like this, how do you know that this will happen if it's never happened? Or perhaps you're holding on to an idea of a man that no man could possibly live up to because he doesn't exist. There will be videos out there of men complaining that women aren't feminine anymore. My attitude would still be the same. Your desire to be the woman you wish to be is dependent on a man, whereas I can be the man that I want to be regardless of whether a woman's in my life or not. And that's why a lot of this stuff doesn't make any sense to me. Do these types of energies apply in relationships that aren't heterosexual? Well, everyone has masculine, feminine energy, but women don't want to be in their masculine energy and they don't like men in their feminine energy. There's too many rules and regulations. We have to restrict ourselves to this made-up thing. I've done a video on this woman before. She's a multi-millionaire, incredibly successful. She's gorgeous, articulate, and well-spoken. She's having trouble with her romantic partnerships with men because she has an expectation of them to be a certain way based off an entirely made-up concept she's choosing to embrace. It's as real as you make it out to be. If this is who you are as a person and has brought no harm to anyone else, you don't need to apologize for it. Because if you didn't believe in any of this polarity stuff, would you still feel obligated to apologize for who you are? I see heaps of women make videos like this where they're so dependent on this high expectation of men stepping into this masculine energy. And to me, it doesn't sound like it's worth the time and energy to indulge in, so I'd rather stay single. It always just sounds like I'm going to be a major inconvenience no matter what I do. So I'll just leave you alone.